started. Thank you all for jumping on our new coach call. This is the second Monday of the month, in which that's when I run my new coach calls. So I want you guys to really quickly in the chat, just when you can, like tell me how long you've been a coach. Just cool to see like how long everyone's been a coach, because sometimes we are diving back in because we like fell off track, or sometimes we are brand new coaches, or we're kind of drawing a line in the sand and we're saying, okay, we're jumping in again and we're gonna like do this, right? So let me know how long you've been a coach. Throw that up in the chat. It's just kind of cool to see for you guys who don't know each other. So I want to kind of just dive into talking about the excitement that you have for this business. It's going to be the deal breaker in how you run your business. It's going to be the deal breaker in how far you go with your business and kind of how you stay engaged and pumped up, because we know, just like a fitness program, we know that our momentum goes down, our motivation goes down, right? Life happens, reality hits, and it becomes a struggle. So we make excuses, or we just give in and we throw the towel in and it gets hard, and whatever the case is. And so your excitement is going to drive you to do this business. It's super simple. It's a matter of saying, I'm going to treat this like a business, and some people want to be hobby coaches. So if you're sitting there saying like, I don't necessarily want to create a full-time income, or I don't want to, whatever, that's fine. It's all in what you want to do, because you're going to get out of this what you put in, right? Just like a fitness program. I always compare this business to fitness, because it's so, you just can compare them in that way with your effort, because your effort is going to determine how far you go in this business, along with your excitement and how you just kind of stay on the up with kind of your vision. So I was able to quit my full-time job to do this full-time, and that was my ultimate goal, you guys. That was something that I strived so hard for, and I worked so hard for, and I showed up every day for, because I saw other people in this downline do it. I saw my friends do it, and I'm like, you know what? Like, this would completely change my life if I could be home with my kids, because I wasn't when they were born, but they're young enough that I can still enjoy a lot of amazing things. I can go to their events, or I can, at the drop of a hat, be home like I was today when my daughter was sick. So it's all of these things that you're going to be striving for, like this vision, and what do you want to do? Because right now, maybe things are like, oh, it's okay. Like, I've tried to teach my team this. I'm like, something's going to come about, and I'm not being negative, and I hope it's not a bad thing that's going to come about, but things are going to come about in your life, good or bad. And you're going to be so grateful when you spent the time and you built this business and you stayed in it and you put in effort and all the things, and you could say, okay, I can do X, Y, and Z because of this extra income, or I can do whatever the case is, and whatever your vision is. So I want you to think about the future too. Like, you're setting yourself up for residual income. You're setting yourself up for a future of health. And you guys, we're never going to not need health and fitness in our life, ever. And everybody else in the world is always going to need it too. Therefore, our job is never going to go away in this industry and helping other people do the same. So I want you to kind of think about that. And I want you guys to like think about being here in a year, because this doesn't happen overnight. And like, it took me 5 years, a little over, in order for me to actually like quit, my job. And again, that's all in, that was just my personal preference on how long and when I wanted to do it and that sort of thing. But I'm just saying that if you stay in this and you picture yourself, I'm going to be here in a year. Like, I'm not just going to do this for a month and see how it goes and whatever. I'm actually going to like dive in, and I'm going to give it my best. And when life happens, I'm going to pick back up, and I'm going to, get back to just maybe focusing on me, because we know that the number one thing in order to to coach is we have to be a product of the product. And that takes me to my first thing. And that's obvious. It's a non-negotiable to drink Shakeology every single day, or Energize, or Recover, or whatever products you're using. And it's kind of non-negotiable to share about what you're doing, right? And do the workouts and share about your journey. And this is probably the thing that, I feel like I've always been super consistent with sharing my journey with whatever it was. And sometimes it doesn't seem like a big deal, you guys. Sometimes your story doesn't feel like a big deal. It doesn't feel like it's anything out of the ordinary, or it's really going to touch that many people. But guess what? It is. People are watching you. People need inspiration. They need motivation, and they need someone who's going to show up and just be like, in their newsfeed, a positive light. So hopefully that's you. Because they can join you, or they can join somebody else. They can choose what you're offering, or they can choose something else that somebody else has. Like, it's a matter of, what are you showing them? What are you showcasing? And are you excited? Again, are you excited about what you're doing? Because that's like the number one thing. Like, I'm still to this day super excited to share, like, 10 rounds is coming out. And I'm absolutely in love with Barre. Barre was like my jam. And I've had a lot of favorite programs over the 5 years, but Barre like surpassed all of those. So if you could have told me that, like, I would have loved Barre as much as I did, I wouldn't have believed you. But that created excitement for me, and that allowed me to honestly recruit a lot of people. It allowed me to get a lot of people involved. And again, with 10 rounds as well, like, that's something that's going to be great. And that's our job, to utilize these brand new programs and to actually share those as they come out. Because people want different stuff. They want to spice it up. That's why we don't stick with a workout program all the time. Like, we've got to switch it up, or we get bored. And so do other people. So we've got to be that person that's kind of always coming at them with fresh motivation and fresh, programs and all that kind of thing. But along the lines of still keeping it simple, you guys, because we all have a story to tell, and it's super important that you get out of your own way. And you don't worry that you're annoying. You don't worry that people don't care what you're doing. Because if people don't care what you're doing, then they're not your people. We don't need to worry about them, because there's enough people that are going to care about what you're doing, and are going to cheer you on, and are going to love your heart and your motivation and inspiration and all the things that you share, that we're not worried about the people that don't like it, okay? Because they're not ready for this. They're not in the positive mindset. They're not where we are, right? So we're showing up because this is our journey, and it's our social media platform. So we're not going to apologize for showing up and being us, right? And being excited about what we're doing. Because if somebody's going to tell me that I can't be excited about what I'm doing, then I'm not going to be very happy. And if we aren't excited about what we're doing, we're not going to stick with it, right? So, and here's the other thing I want to say really quick before I forget. So a lot of times as new coaches, if we don't get somebody started and someone says yes, and we don't sell something, right, we feel unsuccessful. We feel like in order to be successful, we need to sell something. We need to sell the challenge pack, get the Success Club points, and I'll explain that in a minute for those of you who don't know what that is. Or whatever the case was, right? We create this success in our mind, and that's not true, you guys, because I still to this day have people that I message, and they ghost me, and they ignore me, message after message. And I might not reach out to them for another month, or another month goes by, or maybe 2 months goes by, and I reach out to them again, and they finally will tell me, no, I'm not ready to join, but I'm so thankful for your posts. I connect with your post because of this. When I see your post, it helps me to do this. Okay. So you guys, that's a win, because that person, maybe not, but hopefully, and most likely, if that person needs motivation and they want to start something, guess who they're going to come to? Hopefully me, because of what I've done and I've showed up. So I want you to think about those things as wins, because they are wins, you guys. Those are the things that you have to, because it's not a sale. It's not always about the sale. It's not always about recruiting and whatever. It's about building that foundation of getting the trust, gaining trust from other people that are watching you. Because for a while, that's what it takes. It takes that. And people, I feel like to this day, finally, maybe start to trust me sometimes. And maybe some people still don't, and that's okay. But it just takes time depending on the person. Okay, so you've got to get comfortable on social media. So that's my like first tip is you've got to get really good at telling your story. You've got to get really good at showing up and sharing what you're doing, why you're doing it, what's the bigger picture behind what you're doing. I mean, it's not just a selfie, and it's not a stock photo, you guys, of a product, because people find that spammy. People find that salesy when you just blast a picture of your product. I've done it before when I was a new coach. And for the first time or second time that you do it, you might get some people that are like, what are you drinking? Or whatever the case is. But that's not gonna, I'm telling you, it won't last long. People will not, you won't get feedback. They don't see anything when they see that product. They see something when they see you, and they see part of your story. So I want you to think about, and it doesn't have to be a fancy picture. It's just you. Share pictures of you. Share pictures of you working out, you and your family, whatever the case is. Maybe you earned your first big paycheck with Beachbody, or your first paycheck to pay for your groceries, or whatever. Share those kinds of things. Because this is going to get you confidence. This is going to help you gain confidence in pushing farther, right? And growing outside of your comfort zone and continuing to share your journey. So I want to kind of dive into inviting, because this is the like number one thing that's going to actually create conversation for you. This is the number one thing that's actually going to get you to exposure to people, because people aren't going to reach out to you. Sometimes they will, rarely they will. And sometimes it'll go in spurts where people are starting to reach out to you, and that's really cool when that happens. However, a lot of times people won't just come to you. It's your job as a coach and as an inspiration and motivator for you to reach out to them, right? And to invite them to whatever it is you're doing over and over and over again, because this is a numbers game and this is a timing game. So we don't know when they're going to be ready, and we don't know how many people we're going to have to invite before somebody says, yes, I could invite 20 people when I get off of this call, and I might get 2 messages back. And they might both not be interested. But you know what the other invites did? It dropped breadcrumbs, and it helped me show up, and it helped them to see that I'm doing something. And with the algorithm of Facebook, believe it or not, it actually helps your post show up in their newsfeed, if you didn't know that. So that's cool too. So think about those things. And I want you to think about the invites that you do every single day are going to pay off in months to come. So whatever you do today, the invites you send today rarely are going to be like, yes, I'm in, I'm jumping in, I want to do this, I'm ready to roll. Those are fun when that happens, and it will happen with people, because a lot of people are just like, yeah, tell me what you're doing, I want to learn. And then they're just like, yeah, that sounds great, I'm in. And if it was only that easy all the time. But it's a matter of whatever you do right now is going to maybe have a 30-day lag. Who knows? We don't know how long it's going to be. You may invite someone today, and next week, and they ghosted you, but next week you posted something that really stuck out to them and it really inspired them, and then they might message you, right? Or the next time you go to message them, they might be like, yeah, I blah, blah, blah. You know, I really am kind of intrigued at what you're doing, right? So I want you to think about that when you go to do your invites. It's going to depend on, I can't really tell you like you should do this many invites a day. You need to figure out an invite goal that you're going to be comfortable with. As a new coach, you really, really need to strive for 3 to 5 a day. That's going to get you consistent. That's going to kind of get some conversations going. That's going to get you comfortable with talking to people and having those conversations. And then you kind of need to branch out, and you need to, like, if you have extra time one day, you need to try to send some extra ones, because again, this is a numbers game. If we send 3 out a day, how many people are going to respond to the 3? You might not get a single response that day, and maybe the next day, and maybe the next day. So that's why we've got to kind of up the ante on invites a lot of times. So with that being said, we need to focus on tracking as well. So whether or not you're using, maybe you know about trackers and maybe you don't, there's the business activity tracker. If you need a copy of that, or you need to know where to find it, it's in your back office. It's probably in your team page. Whoever team you're on, it's probably in that team page, and you can definitely find access to that. But, and what's cool about that is that actually helps you track to be a product of the product. It actually helps you, I mean, it helps you track all of your stuff, because you gotta take care of you first. You're your number one priority, right? Because you're like the number one person, because if your cup's not full, you're not going to be able to help other people. So I love the business activity tracker because it helps you to actually, help yourself. And then you're going to do the invites, follow-ups, adding to your network, and we'll go through those things. So there's that tracker, or there's a really simple tracker called the Go for No. I've always talked about it a lot in my team. It's super simple. It's like, if you haven't seen it, it's a document with 100 squares, and you literally write names in each square, one name in each square. And as you go, you check them off, you highlight it. You can have whatever color-coded system that you want. So maybe they said yes, or maybe they said yes, but not right now. Or maybe they said a flat out like no, or maybe they actually jumped into your challenge group, or they joined your team as a coach. So, but what's cool about this is, in any tracking system, is you use this month after month after month, and you get a new sheet month after month, right? And you can go back and you can see who you talked to, and who you need to reach out to, and then nobody falls through the cracks. So you kind of got it, and it can be a simple pen and paper, you guys. It doesn't have to be like a fancy tracker. It can be like number 1 through 10 on a piece of paper, and write the date at the top, write the names out, and you're good. And then you kind of need to have a follow-up system, like, okay, who said that they wanted more information, and then you gave them the information, but then they didn't respond. That's probably the number one thing that happens when you have someone that's interested, is they read it, but then they didn't respond. So then you're like, okay, did I say something wrong? What did I do? Was I too pushy? Was I this? Was I that? No, like probably not. Most likely not. They just either were busy when they opened it, or they don't know what to say. They don't really know. So a lot of times I'll follow up and I'll just say, hey, did that make sense? Because I want to kind of just check in with them. And number one, I want to check in with them. Number two, it just gets them to respond to the message. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot, or whatever the case is. So really get good at tracking your business. That's going to help you to see where you can fill in gaps. Like, are you not getting anyone to join? Well, why not? Because if you're sending the invites every single day, and you're pushing a little bit, and you're kind of building on what you're doing, you should be getting people to say yes. At some point, whether it's to a free group, whether it's just a BOD, whether it's whatever, something small. Because a lot of times, you guys, we want to kind of get them in at a lower entry level instead of, we want the challenge pack's the best bang for the buck, like for them. And that's obviously how we all enrolled, but we want to meet people where they are. And if they just want to get in with a 2-week free trial, perfect. Maybe we can get them some samples of Shakeology on top of that. And that's really good for volume. And that's really good for just recurrent customers, and kind of just getting people in your group and keeping them kind of in your group and engaged. So as far as, let's kind of dive really quickly into Success Club. So I don't like to really focus on this a ton, just because I feel like sometimes we can get too focused on Success Club. And the fact of the matter is, if you're doing the things that I'm talking about doing and showing you guys, then you're going to potentially hit Success Club every single month. It only takes 3 challenge packs for you to actually hit Success Club. Okay, so 3 enrollments with challenge packs. You get 2 points per challenge pack, or you can get a point if you sell 90 PV of something. They get points for that. It just depends on what you sell, because a lot of times if someone just buys Shakeology on HD, which is home direct, if you guys have questions, just throw them up in the chat. I saw that Jenna had a question. Yeah. So Jenna asked, what's your favorite challenge pack to promote? Yeah, honestly, Beachbody On Demand challenge pack is what is my go-to, because it's $160. Typically, if there's a brand new program, like right now, Bar is the new program. So they get Bar included in their challenge pack for free. So I'm going to throw in Bar. I'm going to give them the Bar challenge pack because it's $160, and why would I not throw that in there? But yes, and really quickly, just just so that I don't leave anything out with this, here's how I go about this, and here's how I share about this. If I have somebody who's interested in, like, here's an invite, just a sample invite that I would say. So if I was inviting off of my posts, and this is a lot of times how I invite, I'm like, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for the love on my post. I just wanted to reach out to see if you would have any interest in joining my brand new March group, ? And then I might say something like, no pressure at all. I just never know who would benefit like I have. Would you want more information? You can add something about like a March fitness group. You could actually use the title of your group. You could say something like, you know, I wanted to see if you would be interested in learning about this brand new workout program that I'm doing, ? And they're going to say, hopefully, what's the new program? That's what you want them to say, right? So that you can send them a YouTube video of the bar promo. And I will just go to YouTube. You got to be careful. You don't want to send like a random YouTube video. But if it's actually from Beachbody, then it's totally fine. And you can type in like bar promo video or Shakeology promo or something like that. And that's going to come up, and the actual like promo video is going to come up, and you can send them that. And then that way you have something to follow up on, like, hey, what did you think of the video? Like, what did you like about the video, or whatever the case is. So when someone's interested, so say I send them that invite and they decide they're interested, I will come back and I will say something like, okay, so for literally 27 cents a day, you can have access to every single program that's ever been created. That gives you cardio, that gives you kickboxing, it gives you yoga / Pilates. Like, you know, I kind of give them a taste of what this is. And you get calendars to follow for every single program. You get nutritional information for every single program. And I let them know that they're getting all the tools to succeed. Plus they're getting access to my groups where we share motivation, encouragement, and just anything to keep each other on track. Something like that, right? That's how I come back, because I want to kind of lead with BOD, because people typically want to get active. When they think about fitness and they think about losing weight and they think about getting healthy, they think about getting active, right? They don't necessarily think about nutrition always. Some people do, but like, I feel like a lot of them don't. So, and we share a lot about our workouts. So that's what I like to lead with. So I explain that. And then I might throw in something like, you know, I do drink Shakeology every single day. I would love to share more about that with you if that's something you would like, you know, me to share about. I say something like, I've been drinking it for 5.5 years. It's a staple. Like, I can't imagine going without it. You know, would you want more information on that as well? So you don't like blast them with all kinds of information. Kind of take it one step at a time. Because if they are in the door with bar, this is why I lead with BOD. If they're in the door with BOD, this is why I lead with BOD, because I feel like it's a very cost-effective way to get them in. It's 27 cents a day, and I love to break that down because that's ridiculously cheap when you compare gyms, and I don't go into all that, but I mean, I've been told lately that like a lady that just joined me, she's paying $160 a month for CrossFit, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, or they're paying 45, or they're paying 50 or 60 or 100 or whatever. And it's insane. And they're literally getting so much with Beachbody On Demand. I mean, there's bonus recipes, there's bonus workouts, like you could go on and on. And so I like to share that, because then if they say yes to that, then I can typically get them to say yes to Shakeology or the pre and post, because for $60 more, they're getting a whole month of supplements. And then I like to talk about, you know, I like to say, would you like to focus on your nutrition? Like, how's your nutrition? Because let's be real, who can honestly say like, my nutrition is on point? Like, most people aren't going to come back and say, my nutrition is amazing, right? No, probably not. So that's why it's good to throw that out there, because Shakeology is going to help them with that. So you're kind of dropping breadcrumbs about what you have to offer. Or I'll say something like, I threw in the nutrition thing, but then I might say, or are you a pre and post workout kind of person? Like, would those supplements be more beneficial to you? Because we have a really amazing clean-based pre-workout that's made from green tea. And not only is it an amazing pre-workout, it's an amazing pick-me-up in the afternoon if you need a boost. So I like to throw that in there too, just because they're going to be thinking about like their energy level, right? And it's probably maybe down. So I throw that in as well, because then that kind of gives them, it intrigues them to like want to learn more about that too. So that's kind of how I like take the invite process. There's no wrong way, you guys. Don't overthink it. Do not overthink talking to people. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. It's going to take you being confident with the fact that you love the product. You don't have to know everything about the product. I'm telling you right now, don't feel like, I don't know much about Shakeology, or I don't know much about this or that. Well, educate yourself on it as much as you can. But as you go and as you share and as you use the product, you're going to be more kind of in with how they work and how they work with you and how you think they're going to help them. And if you're a raving fan and you absolutely love the products, there you go. That's gold, because you can share them and you can let them know how they helped you. And you don't want to make it about you, but you want to like let them know that, you know, this is what it's done and that sort of thing. So that's kind of how I go about the challenge pack option. Of course, I love to just get someone started on BOD, the annual. I'll be honest, I don't really talk about the free option unless I realize that they are like out. Like they are not going to invest in themselves. They are totally like not going to spend a dime on themselves, or they literally can't afford it. That's when I might throw in the 2-week free trial in with the quarterly Beachbody On Demand, because they're still getting a lot, and it breaks it down. So it's only $40 every quarter for them. And again, you want to meet people where they are, because it's not about us. It's about them and what we can do for them. So back to Success Club. Success Club is basically just recognition. It's important in your business to hit it every month. And the reason is because it's consistency. It shows consistency in your business. And it shows that you're just getting people enrolled, and that you're inviting, and that you're sharing, and that you're starting to build your own organization and your own team, and you're building an income too. Because if you hit Success Club 6, let's say you hit Success Club 6, that's 3 challenge packs. That's $150 for that month on challenge packs alone. So think if you made $150 a month. Let's just say that. Okay. What could that be at the end of the year for you? What could that money do for you? What could, there's so many things that I'm sure that could do for each and every one of us when you break it down that way. It might not seem much per month, but when you think about it at the end of the year, that's not bad. That's not a bad extra vacation fund or car payment or whatever the case is. So Success Club's awesome and amazing, and you get prizes from the company, and you can earn free trips, and it gets you cruise or travel dollars for your trip, the Success Club trip, which I've went on every year, except I'm not going this year. This is my first one. I think this is my 6th trip, or would have been, and I chose not to go this time. But like, there's just a lot of fun things that you get to do because you hit Success Club. So it's really exciting. You get a shout out from your coach. A lot of times your coach will reward you. So it's basically like recognition. A lot of times people get confused by that. If you have questions about Success Club, let me know in the chat. I can kind of explain that. I don't want to go into deep into that, because it just is, that's all we really need to say about it. Because if you're doing the things each day and you're actually setting your day up for success, and you're planning out when you're going to work your power hour, and we say power hour because you should designate an hour, maybe a day, to work your business. But how many of us actually sometimes get a solid hour to sit down and really focus? Maybe not all of us. And so that's the reason I built my business around a full-time job, and I built it in power pockets of time. So I would do a few messages here. I would spend 10 minutes here. I would craft a post here, because you want to really try to post. You want to try to post every day. You want to try to start showing up in people's feed and branching out and sharing your story. And then you're going to be able to invite off of your posts. It's like a domino effect, because you're going to be sharing, and then you're going to be inviting. But then here's something else you're going to be doing that might be out of your comfort zone, but you just need to get out of your own way with this, is adding to your network. So whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, I built my business pretty much solely on, I built the solid foundation of my business on Facebook. I'm branching out into Instagram, and at this point I feel like I'm getting a lot off of Instagram because I'm having fun with it, but it's taken a little bit of time for me to kind of feel like I know sort of what I'm doing on there. But Facebook, if you're a Facebook person, focus on Facebook. I think it's good to kind of branch into Instagram and learn it as you go, so that you have another platform to work off of, because you'll be surprised the conversations that you can actually, and the people you can actually meet either place. So I want you to think about whatever platform you're going to use, and I want you to think about adding people, new people. So you might have a friend, you might have someone who you have like 10 mutual friends or 5 or 2 or 20 or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you want to add them, and don't be weird about it. It's just a really simple thing. You just go click add friend, add friend. And if they accept you, fine. If they don't, fine. This is social media. This is like an open, range of people. And the reason we are on here is to meet people. And this is a networking company. We are networking. So how can we network so that we can actually expand and grow our team and create new conversations? Because you're going to run out of people if you don't do this task. And again, trust me, it's not going to be weird once you get used to it. And there's several ways you can actually interact with people and meet people. Maybe you're in a free group. Like maybe you're in, like I'm in this Aldi nerd group. Are you guys in this Aldi nerd group? Like someone added me. Yeah, I love Aldi. And who knew that there's this Aldi nerd group, which I'm just using this as an example. And there's like thousands of people in this group. I mean, this group is insane. And I haven't even used this as a tool. I'm just saying that was the first group that came to mind. I could actually go in there and I could create some conversations. Not that I'm going to go in the Aldi group and blast my product. No, I'm just saying I could get to know people, or I could interact with people about Aldi stuff on there, and I could maybe create a few relationships in this group. So maybe you're a dog person and you love a certain kind of dog or whatever. Then you could go in that group and you could actually network in these groups to meet people. You're not blasting your product, you're just using it to meet people. So there's so many different ways besides just adding. And I don't go, when I add someone and they accept my friend request, I don't send the weird message like, hi, my name's Tabitha and I blah, blah, blah. Like I don't do that. That's just me. I feel like that's kind of weird. So I just kind of let them hang out and watch me do what I'm doing. And eventually maybe they'll interact with me, and then that's when I'll go to invite them. And I could go in depth with a lot more of this stuff per kind of topic that I'm talking about, but I want to kind of give you a wide range of just getting started with your business and keeping it simple, because as you go, you're going to grow and you're going to learn stuff, and you're going to be like, okay, I feel like I'm running out of people. So if you feel like you're running out of people to invite, then you need to work on your networking, and you need to maybe go back and follow up, or maybe you just kind of need to look at who are you talking to and how can you gain more people kind of in your circle to where you're talking to like 10 people at a time. I think it's good to have kind of 10 people in your circle that you're talking to at a time, just because think about it. If you don't have messages going out, you're not going to have messages coming in. So say you miss invites for 3 days. Well, how many are going to be in your inbox? Not that many, right? Because you've not been sending them out. So they're not going to be coming in. So I want you to think about like the routine that you need to get yourself on for your business and how it's going to look for you, because it's not going to look the same for everybody. But you want to kind of think, okay, when am I going to work my business? Am I going to get up earlier? Am I going to stay up a little later after my kids go to bed? Am I going to do it on my lunch hour? Like, when am I going to send messages? And when am I going to craft my post? And, whatever the case is, you need to kind of like have a plan and track and have a little bit of organization. It doesn't have to be perfect, because again, I ran my business around a full-time job, and it's crazy sometimes. And sometimes you just send messages when you can. You might be in the bathroom for a minute and you're sending messages or whatever, because you just do it when you can do it. And, but it is good for you guys to have a plan and kind of know how your day is going to look and how you're actually going to, to set yourself up for success. So the income potential, you guys, for this business is amazing, and it's huge and it's insane. And I kind of already briefly talked about that, but I wanted to just let you know that, you can create whatever you want to with this business. It's a matter of consistency and being super patient and being willing to just learn and grow and change and show up. Like, absolutely show up every single day, whether you want to or not, and not based on your feelings, not based on if you're not feeling it that day, or if you're not. And of course, like everyone, we get sick or something happens and we need a break. Like, that's totally fine. That's just life. But you just pick back up and you jump back in and you show up again, and you show up over and over and over again, even on the hard days, just like we do with our fitness. if you treat your business like you treat your fitness, or like you know you should treat your fitness, you're going to build whatever kind of business you want. And then you're going to duplicate what you did. This is a duplication system. You invite, you track, you invite, you show up, you post, you share your story, you drink a shake, you drink your Energize. And I didn't even talk about personal development, which is huge. So I don't know if you guys have a personal development book that you're reading or that your coach recommended. Throw it up in the chat for what personal development book you are reading or are going to read, or maybe you need recommendations on a book and I can help you with that too. There's some that will just help you get started. It'll kind of get you in the mindset of networking, or it'll get you in the business mindset, or it'll kind of just, get you started. Because if you're not feeding this up here, you're going to have a hard time continuing when it gets hard. Because we all just need that mojo and that motivation to keep going. And personal development is where it's at. It's going to help you grow and believe in yourself and change and all that kind of stuff. So as far as, and I just want to bring this up, I don't want to focus on it too much. I just want to let you guys know, for those of you who don't know, your first goal is to get to Emerald. And you really want to get there as fast as you can, just because you're going to maximize your income potential. You're going to get there faster. You're going to start growing your network, starting to grow your network, and you're going to actually start the team cycle bonus. And I'm not going to go into that. I just wanted you guys to know that you want to find 2 people who want exactly what you want, to get fit, to get a discount, just to have a community of amazing women to build them up and encourage them. There are so many people out there like you who just need support and accountability. They want to build confidence, and they don't have access to the gym. Or if they do have access to the gym, they have no idea what in the hell they're doing when they get there. And that was me. And so there's just so many people who need our motivation and our inspiration to help them to see that they can do it too. That's all you're doing. You're not an expert. You don't need to be. You don't need to worry about being perfect and doing all these things right. You just need to worry about showing up and encouraging people and just being there for them, whether or not you get a sale. Because if you go into just inviting and sharing and showing up, knowing and not wanting anything in return, though, that's when you're going to start to see it come in, and you're going to start to see, okay, these people are joining me, and okay, I showed up and they see that, and they start to trust you. So does anyone have any questions? Because that's kind of my new coach call in a nutshell. I mean, we could go on for days about invites and conversations and really working through objections. And those are kind of on further team calls. And those are kind of on more, after you get started calls. But I wanted to kind of just throw out some stuff for you guys to think about, for you to kind of get organized and get serious about diving in with whatever that looks like for you. You don't have to run your business like I do or like anybody else. And don't worry about comparing. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It's about what you're doing and what you want for your family and what you want for your future. So keep that in mind, and just know that the possibilities are endless, and there's so many, there's just so much you can do with this. Okay. Fear is my homeboy. Okay. I haven't read that one. That would be good. I bet. I've heard of that though. GoPro's a really good one. That's kind of an original that I feel like it's been around for forever, but it's a really good network marketing one. I'm trying to think. Slight Edge is really good. And then of course, sometimes you want to kind of base it on okay, do you want a business kind of inspired book, or do you need to feed this? Are you getting in the way of what you're doing? Because sometimes sometimes you're reading 2 books just because one of them's based on your mindset and the other one's based on kind of on a business aspect. So, okay. So I think that's all I have for you guys. Is there anything you feel like I left out or anything you want me to elaborate on? Because I'm happy to do so. Okay. And if not, I'll just upload this recording so that, if whoever didn't get on, I know there's a few people who were going to get on and maybe couldn't. But I hope that helped you guys. I hope that gave you guys some good insight to start your business and to kind of, or if you're like restarting, kind of gave you the mojo to just dive in and be you and have fun with it and share and not get in your own way. Okay, you guys, have a good night. Thanks for jumping on.